Good morning, dear colleagues. I hope that you have had enough rest after yesterday's gala evening and ready to start the day. We are starting with the presentation in-house work or we choose freedom. It has been mentioned about our perspectives to our profession. I'd like to tell about myself a little bit. I live in Kiev. I've been living there for 8 years there. I'm working as an in-house translator. I also have some experience as a freelancer, so I have both perspectives onto our profession. One of my functions as the in-house translator is looking for freelance translators as well. Why have I chosen this topic? First of all, it's interesting for me. I'd like to understand this topic better and also to dispel some myths about in-house work for translators, one of which is that this kind of job is the rock bottom in terms of profession. And I also have read a lot of horror stories about work in an office, because you should be pushed to do some secretary job. You would need to serve coffee and clean some cabinets. But you should remember that all kinds of works are different, not only in the translation field. It depends on your presentation at the working place. And we will discuss these topics today. I'm passing on the microphone to Adelaida.
Microphone.
Yeah, that's what we want to discuss. First of all, because we had gala evening yesterday and we stayed late, thanks to the organizers that I am the first presenter after the gala evening. That's why I think coffee would be just perfect now. Talking about myself, I'm in the field since 1992. I have had plenty of experience, but I had some periods where I didn't work as a translator because of economical peculiarities of Belarus. I've worked not only as a translator but also as a manager. I worked in an office. I worked for different companies. I've been a manager for freelance translators for big localization projects and document translation projects and software localization. And finally, I've switched to freelance completely. In Belarus, it's not very gorgeous choice, if I can say so. First of all, I'd like to talk why freelance is good for us. Let's get back to the previous slide. Please, one more back. Okay, here. Here you can see the good sides of freelance work. The uppermost picture is me wearing a hat. I'm working on a very big project. I'm working in Spain. The bottommost picture is about my way to Novgorod from Petersburg. It's 25th of February. And here you can see my birthday. I didn't want to go back home and we stayed for fishing. Let's go further. Why should we talk about this? Again, we have to acquire freedom. Oleg Rudavin has mentioned that yesterday. I know many people are scared of being free and independent because of different factors we will discuss later. Okay, let's go further. Advantages of in-house work as a translator. First of all, for me, the first advantage for me is ability or opportunity to plan your time and space, divide them into working space and time and personal. I think I'm quite an organized person, but still I used to work in the evenings, at the weekends, weekends, because when you can plan your own schedule, it's one thing, but if late in the evening of Friday you have a call where your favorite client asks you for urgent translation, you cannot reject it. And our family is not always understanding in such cases. The second advantage is interaction with other people. I mostly do written translation. After having been a freelance translator, I felt not like isolated from everybody. I also want to mention that we have additional opportunities for specialization. Yesterday we witnessed an argument about who can do the job better, a specialist in the field or a professional translator. And I can add that if you work as an in-house translator, you can always be communicating with professionals in this field, and you can acquire necessary knowledge to be almost at the level with the experts in the field. And if you continue self-improvement, you can really reach the highest level possible. Also, you can establish useful contacts. If you still decide to switch to freelance, you will have plenty of clients. Okay, relative stability and social package speak for themselves. These are very good bonuses of in-house work. It means when you plan to have a planned holiday, this is going to be paid by your employer, which is very good for you. Let's talk about advantages of freelance. For me personally, first, ability to plan. First of all, if you are not scared to say no to your client, if you have planned to see your doctor or to stay with your child, to go to any other place, and you have an urgent order, which happens quite often, why don't you say just no to your client? Yes, I can plan. I have planned this travel, this adventure for me. I've planned it, and I'm kind of realizing it. I have a question. Can I have such an opportunity working as an in-house translator? If I decided today and I want to go tomorrow, it's not possible. But if I know in advance, probably why not? Is it going to be paid? Probably no. If you have estimated your power adequately, you will always have an opportunity to stay longer, to be free earlier, and again, you will have plenty of spare time. You can devote yourself to a particular subject field. You have enough opportunities to specialize. You have more time to go deeper into the subject field, or to attend some classes, courses, trainings, and so on and so forth. Establishing useful contacts, it depends on what you mean exactly by saying useful contact. If you mean a good person who you can ask specific questions, or a bank manager if you need to take a loan. If we talk about written translation, it gives enough context for personal development. We are getting acquainted with a new subject field, and we are improving ourselves. Relative stability. Freelance work is not very stable. We are dependable on many clients, on their payments. We do have deadlines as a freelancers. The clients are not always very strict with the deadlines of payments. Logrus has mentioned this issue yesterday. If we can manage our cash flows, your income is going to be quite stable. If we bill our clients on time, your income is going to be very stable. If when I get back home, I'll have money for sure. because I've spent a lot of money here in Ukraine. I've lost my smartphone and I had to spend money. We should know how much your services cost and tell this to your customers. I've seen this poster about ideal income. Oliynyk has explained a lot about this yesterday. Okay, let's continue. I'm kind of distracted by my coffee. Are there any disadvantages in the in-house work? First of all, it's the uppermost limit in terms of salary. If you work more and more quality and you deliver more quality, you won't be compensated for that. The only thing which is good here is that when you do not have any work, you still get your salary. What is more, your in-house work does not exclude an opportunity of freelance project as well. Limited possibilities for career growth. If you work for an agency or you have a company with a big translation department, you have plenty of opportunities. But I work for a company where I'm the only in-house translator, and my career growth is possible only doing some other additional projects. If you are a freelancer, if you don't like a customer, you can cancel, you can reject any project or any customer. But when you are an in-house translator, you do not have such an opportunity. But it does not mean you have to perform any work under any conditions. Again, you have to understand how much you are worth. A fixed schedule. If you have a big project, you've worked a lot and hard, and you want to say, okay, finally, and go for a holiday for a week. It's not the case in case of a full-time job in an office. But still, if you need to see your doctor or to see your child's school teacher, you would probably have no question. Adelaida, I've heard you mentioning Oliynyk Rudavin's formulas, and here it is. This is everything we are needing right now. That's the formula we need to memorize. This is success formula. We cannot earn all the money in the world, but the Spanish say you would be the richest person at the cemetery if you work too hard. Are there any disadvantages of a freelance work? Yes, of course. Your family, when you switch to freelance, your family does not always understand your work. You are working. You are a manager and a worker in one person. Everybody wants to ask you. Your child asks you to something, and everybody asks you to walk a dog, to do some shopping. You are staying at home. Why not? It's very important to settle all these issues with your family, with your dogs and pets, and so on. I had to work on that for 1 year to fight for my rights of not being touched while I'm working. Now my dog is walked by my parents. I don't know who is walking whom. My dog, my parents, or vice versa. My children are grown up. Okay, this picture illustrates what I'm talking about. You are working at the computer and your oven and washing machine. Okay, how do we get ill when you are a freelancer and in-house work? The in-house worker gives a call to the office and says, "I'm ill," but freelancer continues working even being ill. Deadline is not sleeping.
The client, the freelancer should meet the deadline, and I
So and of course, yes, any holiday can be a working day, any weekday can be a working day, but the good compensation for it is I can have a weekend on Wednesday, for example, and somebody may call me and we will have a good chat or walk, but nonetheless I can work on holidays during the weekends, and of course there is a possibility not to be paid, and especially on our initial stages when we are not get used to test our clients. And how to protect these, as Alexander Podubny says, not to have some frequent, unchecked connections. Of course, you may use Google. So there is an article on the web about how to define crooks, and of course we may be cheated, but we so if you made an agreement, you may sue the client. So the organization of the work, how do we do it? First of all, you need to work the way your manager don't have any questions to you, and of course you don't have the so-called burning out, the professional one. If you should work and what can help you to not to do this, you can make the professional glossaries, so you can work with CAT tools, and you should prioritize what you should do, because you won't be able to meet any needs of everybody, and you should be able to explain to a person that you cannot do it immediately, or he or she should go put this work to outsource. So sometimes it happens that the orders are really very urgent, and it's very good when you have a list of freelancers, people you can trust and share your job with. And very often you cannot, so to avoid not meeting the deadlines, you should have a kind of reserve to have some time, and you should coordinate this time and manage it. So the organizing of work of freelance, it's not different from in-house. So you are manager to yourself, but you need to have some inner responsibility. Of course, you need to prepare and make glossaries, professional. And you use it in different other projects. You use CAT tools. So CAT tools are our everything. So it's our conscious, our memory, our soul, and these. So my TM allows me to translate quite difficult documents, so prioritizing of the work. So our clients give their orders, and very often I may be sitting at home for 1 week and checking my email, and the clients don't know that they send me any, but day comes and everybody during one day ask you to do this job, and you need to have a skill to prioritize, to make priorities, and it depends on the deadline, of course, the topic, the field. sometimes you may reject some of the projects, and you should do this work according to the you distributed the priorities to it. So very often you can share quite a big project, you can share it with your friends, and here you should, very important, you need to know if you share this project, you are responsible for it and for the quality, and so it's the same as the in-house work. And of course, deadlines should have certain reserves in time. So sometimes the client needs that you can type 4,000 characters per second, but the outcome is nonsense. And Oleg Rudavin mentioned it yesterday. So you may add some more 30% to the charge of the project, and you may go to have a rest. So as for the cooperation with the management and colleagues, so this is a kind of cooperational work, and very often we think that everybody understands how the interpreter or translator works and what is the essence and how much this work costs. How much this work costs, and people don't know. We need to explain to people. And if your colleague asks to have it translated for tomorrow, and this is 100 pages project, you needn't complain, and you needn't just make a post on the professional community forum that you cannot do this, and you need to explain to the client that probably you may do this, but the quality will be really poor, and it often turns out that it's not necessary, and you need to translate only 5 pages, and you need to communicate, you need to articulate your position, and you need to tell to clients and to managers and staff and what you do. And also when you attract some outsourced translators, you need to explain why it is so expensive, or the amount, and it was the case when we need to outsource 8 simultaneous interpreters, and the price was quite high, and management were surprised. How is that? What's the matter? And you need to explain what kind of competence these interpreters should possess to produce a very good quality job, and you need to explain that you need to plan your time, and you need certain time to do these translation, and you need to have more time to make a kind of analysis. So also you need to have a linguistic support of the staff. You will do not only the translation, you will do some editing. Well, sometimes you may be asked to help with the English language, or very often you may have a phone calls, how can you translate this word, and if I correct with the translation of this sentence. So you should support and you should assist your colleagues. So cooperation with the client and the colleagues, our colleagues, our friends, interpreters, translators, our friends, acquaintances. So almost the same. We need to have a skill to talk to the client, taking into account that you are the master of yourself. So, and you need to do it before you enter into the project. So we speak about everything which may cause some difficulties. After that, we make an agreement. So Russian translation companies they insisting on making agreements, but foreign companies not. And I like it. So we agree upon the date of payment. So and we built up a team. Again, we run through all these points with the team again, so we exchanged experience with colleagues. We use our favorite prozet.com, translation cafe, translation town. I don't remember the exact name. I don't have my colleagues' Spanish translator, so multitrend.com. Well, of course, it has a kind of not really good fame, but really we can find good support and good assistance from it. So cooperation with freelancers or outsourced translators, and I just reiterate myself, if you have the possibility to give it to outsource, let's do it, please. So we have a quite a freelance base, and we try to get acquainted with these people to be sure in the quality they produce, and of course you should control this process, and you should manage this process, and you need to provide freelance translators with glossaries, be ready to answer the questions, so to have some networking with them, and if you use your freelance base, so you act as a translation agency manager, so, and you identify the deadlines for them, the priorities. So, and as Adela has said, if we share the work among different translators, we are responsible for them.
We are always responsible for the quality. We always speak about the same. If we have an order, we have to check it. Coordination of the teamwork always is in our responsibility if we outsource parts of the project. If you have a good customer, which is an agency, and they are tolerant to communication between an editor and translator, we do have to do this and get some feedback, and vice versa. We have to argue with them if we have such a necessity. Coordination of terminology and document fulfillment. This is number one for us, because this is about the quality of our documents. This is our payment. This is our fee. I don't like the word salary. It's our fee. We have to keep an eye on the documents, and we have to be really attentive to this issue. All these docs have to be in accordance with the legislation. When we work with the foreign customers, it's easier for them. The email is a documental confirmation of an agreement between them and us. As a conclusion, I'd like to say that work in a good company is a nice alternative for all kinds of translators. It allows you to get specialization, to have an experience, and then you would decide how you would deal with that, if you want to stay here or to switch to a freelance. And by this time you would have a base of clients. Maybe you would be so greatly specialized, you would like to stay and change positions with those for whom you used to work. If we talk about a freelance experience, is that working on my own is always an advantage. Self-improvement is the key thing, but it's not always about horizontal progress. There is not enough good companies for all good translators. That's why I don't want to think about looking for a good company to work for. I am a company for myself. Professional growth does not necessarily mean professional growth. It's your self-improvement, it's your specialization, it's your professional progress. If you care about status, I've become an I've become an author of patchwork blanket. Now I am a speaker as well. Yeah, and I can perceive it as a status. And for me, the freedom is above all. But it's always for you to choose, to make a choice. If you have questions and you don't have time today, you're welcome to ask. While Adelaida is drinking coffee, please say if there are in-house translators here. Quite plenty of you here. Have you been convinced that you should switch to a freelance? I wanted to comment a little bit because I became an in-house translator half a year ago, and I think, okay, I need to go to the office and I should stay there for 8 hours a day. And I say it's not very human to stay for 8 hours. Anya, would you agree? Is it humane? You know, when I was a freelancer, I used to work longer hours than compared to what I do now as an in-house translator. And there is also an important nuance. For me personally, I can analyze after your speech. I can say that, yeah, I earn more, but I don't have any time for my personal life. You know, I like my work. I work for a charitable fund, but I do believe in what we are doing, and I enjoy being part of this team, and my work is fun for me. Of course, I have other hobbies and interests, but I have enough time for everything. One more question to you. When you have no work, which happens with in-house translators, you cannot freelance. You cannot have freelance projects. You should be obliged by your contract. It's not written in my contract, though. In fact, I do have freelance projects. I forgot one more thing about differences between freelance and in-house work. We often say, I work with people. Every day I come to work, I see the same faces who are speaking about the new hairstyle of the secretary, who has probably some affair with whom, and I am, being a freelancer, stay at home. I define everything myself. I don't participate in such talks, and this is my choice. Can I say, please? I have no questions. I understand both sides. I like both of them. I was asked to bring coffee, and I brought it. You have some coffee support now. Coffee is our great friend. Thank you. First of all, thanks to both of you for perfect presentation. I have a short comment. Maybe I've missed something, but it seems to me I haven't heard it clearly. I'd like you to remember that freelance is a business, and business is, among all, investment. And if we talk about working tools, when we analyze what we do and how we do it, we shouldn't forget about the fact that it's not only freedom, we also should talk about working place. And if we work for a good company, somebody takes care of that. For me, in the past few years, $500 for all the licenses of Microsoft and a license for SDL Trados. Yeah, working for yourself is perfect. I've been working as a freelancer for 20 years, but I want you to remember that in this scenario, it's an investment. In the same way as any company invests in their projects and in their offices. And if we start thinking, if I switch to freelance, I am totally free, it's not a correct way to take this scenario. Maxim, yes, this is about the formula, ideal income. When I'm the only person who defines what it is for me. Yeah, I wanted just to focus your attention that we shouldn't think only about money, and we should probably save for some future investments in our professional growth. Yeah, and for the bread and butter and for career to be put on top of it. Завадский Игорь, Logos company. I want to say words in favor of an opposite view. I yesterday said these words. If we talk about marketing translation, how much is a freelancer paid for such word? The same as for technical translation, because language service providers have their own customers who get from them quite similar fees and rates. I have a question. How many in-house translators do you have? In-house translators are not in great number, but we have doctors who can switch to translators' work. Can I finish? Okay. Look, we can allow, for the project which needs more attention, we can allow twice as much time of our in-house workers. But freelancer wouldn't do the same thing because he or she wouldn't be paid the same double rate. Sorry? Pardon? Could you repeat?
Use the mic, please.
Use the microphone, please.
Ask your questions using the microphone.
So, I quite regularly, Igor, send you about 30 offers you cannot put into Microsoft Style Guide. So, once 6 months it is updated, but after a number of very great experts. So directly me, no, I haven't had any. So break. Let's have a break. I have a question to Igor as an ex-editor. Now I'm a freelance translator. I have the following question. Are you editors paid enough for their translators translating skills and to your translator for editing skills? Because it's so, we have a fixed rate per month, per 8-hour day. So this just we don't ask them for volume, for certain amount of characters. So we have a fixed rate. If you need more time for this project, a person can work longer. So there are certain advantages. So friends, sorry, but now we're just we have to stop it because we're still time for our next speaker.